This is going to be a review of graphing linear equations. If you will first notice, the equations are in slope-intercept form, which is y equals mx plus b. In this form, the m represents the moving number or the slope, so we will rise and run, and the b represents the beginning number or y-intercept. Write that at the top of your paper. Y equals mx plus b is slope intercept form. So our slope, we will rise and run, and our y-intercept is our beginning point. Let's look at example 1a. We have our y equals mx plus b, so go ahead and list what your m and your b equals. So if our b equals 3, we're going to begin on our graph our first point at 3. Again, on the y-axis because it's a y-intercept. Then if our slope is negative 2/3, we can rise and run with that fraction, or you can also rise and run with the fraction 2 over negative 3. Keep in mind that negative only has one job. It can go with the numerator or the denominator, but it cannot go with both. So if we rise negative 2, that's going down, and run 3, that's to the right, and put a point. So from your beginning y-intercept, rise and run, and put a point. You can continue to rise and run down 2 and right 3 all the way to the edge of the graph. We can return to the y-intercept and rise and run with the positive 2, but then that means we have to go negative 3 to the left. And then again, rising and running to the edge of our paper. Use your ruler to connect the points to make a straight line. Let's look at 1b. Name your y-intercept and your slope. Our y-intercept is negative 2, so that means we're going to begin our first point at negative 2 on the y-axis. So go ahead and plot that point at negative 2. Then you're going to rise and run. So rising 1, running 5. But you could also rise negative 1 and run negative 5. So our slope is a positive 1/5. But a negative divided by a negative is also a positive slope. So it gives us another rise and run. Let's plot our next point. So from your beginning point, rise 1 and run 5 and put a point. We wouldn't be able to rise 1 and run 5 again without going off the graph. So this is enough for the edge of the graph. Go back to the beginning point. Now go down 1 for negative 1 and left 5. Because a negative divided by a negative, notice how that's still going to be a positive uphill slope. Use your ruler to connect the points, making a straight line. And our last one here, it's y equals 5. So it's not actually in slope-intercept form. Our y-intercept is 5, but our slope would be 0. You could rewrite this as y equals 0x plus 5. So our y-intercept does begin at 5. Since we have a slope of 0, you will rise 0, meaning you cannot go up or down, but you can run for as many as you want. So rising 0 and then run out to wherever you want and put a point. Y equals a number is just a horizontal line at that number on the y-axis.